So by recently I mean today, I was on Twitter and I saw that Onision had made this tweet. It really sucks when people lie and exploit #MeToo campaign for money and fame. The damage is done, all I could do is tell my story. And links a blog that he wrote. And I went through his blog. It is interesting. I want to go through this blog with you guys in this video. So that's what we're gonna do, I guess. What it's like being fake #MeToo'd. We all seem to love judging each other, but what is important is that you ask yourself, is your opinion of someone relevant? Is a law-abiding citizen somehow a bad person just because you have different ways of living your life? Ways that only look bad when you spin them to appear that way. I don't think I need to spin the fact that Sarah was 16 when she moved in with Onision, and Onision's partner had the power of attorney of Sarah, and right after Sarah turns 18, Onision had sex with her when he was in his fucking 30s. I don't think I need to spin those facts to make it seem worse than it is. Anyways, moving on. Most everyone has an ex who feels upset because they don't want to be with them anymore. But does that justify trying to ruin their life? We're not just talking about a regular breakup here, Onision. We're talking about grooming here. It's not just a regular breakup. Almost half a year ago, 3 women I broke up with over a span of 9 years decided to speak to a man who's best known for confronting men who pursue 13-year-olds. A man who was fired from his job after someone ended their own life and the company he worked for lost over $100 million. Now, about Onision saying that, it's just half a year ago that 3 women that I dated over a span of 9 years just somehow randomly decided to come forward with their story. That is not true. That is him trying to rewrite history. When did the Billy fiasco happen? I think it was in 2016. So people have been speaking out for more than half a year. This isn't something that's new, that just happened half a year ago. That is him trying to rewrite history so that it could seem like, hey, these women just came forward now because they want money or fame or something like that. And that is not true. The 3 women I broke up with were not only legally consenting when I was with them, but were nowhere near what the predator-catcher typically addressed. When someone who is just a puppet pretends to be an actual investigative journalist only to resort to bias, speculation, and slander, you have an enormous problem. Now, I do think that Onision is not a pedophile like the ones that we saw on To Catch a Predator. I don't think Onision is a pedophile. I don't think he is attracted to prepubescent girls. Whatever you say about the people he's interested in, they were not prepubescent. So I don't think he's a pedophile, but I do think that he's a predator. So I guess he's kind of right when he says that, but we're nowhere near what the predator-catcher typically addressed. Moving on. Now this is interesting. Okay, notice how he describes the women that he dated. Okay, this is really interesting. Woman 1, now in her late 20s. I met when she was 17. This was many years ago. The legal age of consent in my state was more than fine, as well as the other state. We met in the other state where the legal age of consent again did not conflict with our relationship whatsoever. In fact, with Woman 1, because I was actively making online vlogs at the time, I had a tripod set up in my room we were staging in. The cleaning lady thought we were making adult films, reported us to the police, and we were confronted right away. The police looked through my laptop and found nothing violating any laws whatsoever. The police confirmed our relationship was legal, and as they clearly approved of our relationship, finding no problem with it, in parentheses, we proceeded to continue dating from there. Yeah, right, anyone can judge a relationship whether it's abusive or not under an hour or so, right? Yeah. Woman 2, I met her when she was 19. Again, legal relationship. Now this is where things get interesting. Woman 3, I proceeded to dating her after she blackmailed me. She was an adult and proposed that if I wanted her to not destroy my life, not sure how she could at the time, but still concerning, that I had to sleep with her. Now, did you notice something? When he described, quote, woman 1, he says here that he met her when she was 17. With woman 2, he again mentions that when Onision met her, she was 19. But with woman 3, he did not mention the fact that the person he's talking about here, he's talking about Sarah. Sarah was 13 when Onision had first contact with her and 16 when she moved in with Onision. Interesting how Onision never mentioned that. And also, I want to point out another thing here. This is according to Onision. These relationships occurred over a span of 9 years. Okay? 9 years. And I don't know whether that is factually true or not, but let's assume that's true. The first person that he dated, the first woman that he dated was 17. The second woman that he dated was 19. The third woman that he dated, again, Sarah here, was 18 when they had any sexual relations. It's interesting to me that Onision's age keeps going up, you know. It's interesting to me that these relationships spanned over 9 years. Let's round it up to say 10 years. So when Onision was in his 20s, he was dating someone who was 17. And now, when Onision is in his 30s, he dated someone who was 18. So Onision's age keeps going up and up and up, but the people who he is romantically interested in are around the same age group. That age never goes up. Anyways, moving on. She was an adult and proposed that if I wanted her to not destroy my life, not sure how she could at the time, but still concerning, that I had to sleep with her. The exact context was she previously, as an adult, well, I would say as a recently turned 18-year-old, but anyways, implied she could destroy my life as a, quote, joke. I took it as a joke and moved on. Months later, I asked her if we could sign an NDA. I did this because previous friends had attacked me publicly and I had attacked previous friends publicly as well. I did not want to risk losing any more friends because of another careless Twitter rant of mine or theirs. When I asked if she would sign the NDA, she said only if I get what I want. What she had previously and repeatedly implied is that she wanted to sleep with myself and another person at the same time. The other person, however, was not sure if they wanted to sleep with her. The other person was pressured into it strongly by woman 3, who had previously, quote, attacked that person with a forceful kiss. Then woman 3 jumped back and said, fuck. Now, this is Onision's version of the story, which he's trying to rewrite. This is what actually happened. This is from the Newsweek article in which Sarah was interviewed. She says, and I quote, "The dude I looked up to when I was younger is finally being nice to me. Like we were all like friends. Like, this is awesome. And he took advantage of the fact that I liked that he was finally being nice to me. I was 17 when he proposed the idea of being in a relationship. Jackson said there's a possibility for us to be in a 3-way relationship, and I just started crying because I was so confused, and I knew this was going to happen. I was just overwhelmed with emotion. I was afraid, I was angry because how could you say all these things for all these years and then switch? Like, did you know what was there? I was just very confused. And I didn't press the issue at all, I just left it alone. Greg really was the one who was pushing it to go forward. What was the atmosphere like after being in a 3-way relationship? I was just going to do what they say and follow their lead because I got caught up in their flow. The dynamic switched. I would ask Greg what he wanted to watch tonight and he would say to watch you and Kai make out. He would give me massages where he was on me and presses his whatever into my butt. I would sleep in their bed sometimes. So what he's trying to do here is pretty obvious. He's trying to smear Sarah, like always. And this is something that Sarah has repeatedly clarified that she did. She did in fact meant that as a joke. She said, only if I get what I want. She has repeatedly clarified she meant it as a joke. And Onision keeps using this to paint Sarah as if she is the fucking evil 18-year-old who wants to ruin Onision's life. And these are the only two things that he always talks about, the jokes that Sarah made. That's the only thing that he talks about. And also that Sarah had, quote, BPD when she never did. But he keeps repeating these points again and again and again. And I think that he thinks that if he just repeat it enough times, it becomes reality. But that's not fucking true. Anyways, moving on. To be clear, I believed woman 3 had good intentions, so I was encouraging the other person to take part in the relationship as well. Not as strongly as woman 3, but still. Remember, Greg was the one who brought up the idea of a 3-way relationship. Sarah never brought it up. It was him. Back to woman 1. While I broke up with her many times, 7 to 9 times, and she broke up with me 2 to 3 times, the most recent incident involved Facebook. I found out through an email with the Facebook post screen cap that she and her new boyfriend were bragging about how good it was for them to sleep together. They even spoke of her being pregnant. The problem? I was actively sending her money to survive in Canada while she awaited getting her passport back. When she said she lost. Additional problem? She was actively dating me. So I broke up with her and wrote this song about her. After I broke up with her, she released a blog saying that she would always love me and talked about how special I was to her. I didn't want to hear anything from her and she had just cheated on me. But years after she publicly said how great I am, she decides to speak to the man who pursues people who go after 13-year-olds in a criminal manner as if I was even remotely similar to those men. Now, it's pretty common to not realize that you're in an abusive relationship when you're in one. So for anyone to realize that they're in an abusive relationship only after the fact that they have broken up and they're out of that relationship is not really uncommon, because you don't really see the light when you're in that cloud, you know? Woman 2 additionally spoke to the same man who seemed upset when she replied that she was always an adult when we had any interactions. Dead end for the predator hunter, just like woman 1 who had already had her relationship with me approved upon by the police. Yeah, alright, like you can tell that someone is in an abusive relationship in like 30 minutes as you're talking to them. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And what he is talking about here, that Chris Hansen got upset that Billy, I think he's talking about Billy here, right? I don't know, like, what the hell is he talking about? That Chris Hansen got upset over the fact that, like, this person was an adult? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Woman 3 became another dead end when she confirmed repeatedly, publicly, that our relationship had only occurred once she was an adult. She admitted she blackmailed me into being with her, but wrote it off as joking. Maybe she was actually fucking joking. Oh my god, that's the only thing that he has. That's the only thing that he has. Oh my god. And he keeps repeating it. And if you repeat something enough times, that doesn't make it real. And about Sarah saying that, hey, sexual relationships only happened once she was 18, she has said that multiple times. That's not the point. I think we all know that. We all know that Sarah was 18 when anything sexual began. But the problem is that she was groomed into it. The problem is that she lived with you since she was 16. Your partner had the power of attorney of Sarah while she was staying with you. You spoke of her as if she was your foster daughter.
They're all focusing on a person that we were temporarily like foster parents to, Sarah. And that was something that was perverted, like turned into something perverted by the internet. We never did anything weird with Sarah. We were just...
And then you had sex with her. That's the problem here. I use the analogy of, if you go into a bank and use a squirt gun that looks like a real gun, that doesn't change the fact that you still walked out with the money. You still got what you wanted, joking or not. It's a crime. Just wow. Oh my god. It was him who was giving massages to Sarah. It was him who first spoke of a 3-way relationship to Sarah. It was him who always brought it up. It was him who had sex with her right after she turned 18, when he was in his fucking 30s. And she just turned fucking 18. And oh my god, okay, I'm gonna move on. While this post is a simplified version of the overall events, I didn't want to sound redundant for those who are already up to speed. If you're not completely familiar, here's me addressing concerns. At one point, I took on challenges for collectively over 10 hours. Yeah, and I tried to make a video on that and I just cannot do it. Anyways, if you somehow made it through those videos and you aren't being paid to believe I'm some monster, people who make money off ad revenue get more views the more they lean towards vilifying me, a man who is known to take on men who pursue illegal relationships, and he backed out. This is after that same man showed up to my house, trespassed on my property, and then acted like I was a weirdo for not wanting an interview when my family was right there. I not at all want about him or the 6 creepy men he brought with him. I got the impression that he ran from the interview after pursuing one for so hard because he began to realize that facing everything I had, all the information, would not be healthy for his position against me. His war on me had already made him tens of thousands of dollars. Admitting it was all for nothing would destroy his credibility. Unfortunately, him backing out of the interview did not help his reputation either. When does a legit predator hunter ever run from an interview with someone they're claiming is a predator? Never. It makes absolutely no sense. He and many others have said that if you run from an interview, you run from the truth. That when you're not willing to face conversation with someone you're accused by or accused of something, you don't want the truth to be known. You don't want to give people an opportunity to prove you wrong. Like, here's the thing about that. Giving an interview to someone who is accused of something, like, I don't know, Slazo. Slazo is a good example, right? Giving an interview to Slazo makes sense because, first of all, he hadn't spoken his side at all. Onision has been speaking his side for fucking years. He has always been talking about his side, and every time, in every single goddamn interview that anyone has done with him, it always ends up in him deflecting, not answering the goddamn questions, him dancing around the questions but not really answering it, and him rewriting the goddamn history. Not to mention that Onision always smears the victims. So, you can't really have an interview with someone who isn't good faith, But I still think, this is my opinion, and get ready with your dislike buttons, but I still think that Chris Hansen should have interviewed Onision because he has said so, and it just doesn't look good, I think he should have, but hey, that's just my opinion. Anyways, moving on. Accusations that fear challenge are nothing more than lies. There's no reason to fear your claims of someone else being questioned unless those claims are like a house built on sand. So in the end, what was accomplished? The predator catcher was told by the police, "We're having a hard time finding actual victims live on his show." Yeah, he likes to clip out these little single parts, but he never really clips out the part in which he says that there's an investigation going on. There's an FBI investigation going on. He never really seems to do that now, does he?
I spoke with an FBI agent today in reference to computer and phone that one of the alleged victims has that may contain some criminal evidence in this case. Is the Sheriff's Department cooperating with the FBI in one big investigation? Or are they two separate investigations, or how is that working out?
Well, right now, even though it may seem like two separate investigations, unlike television, we work very well with the FBI.
As you said, a detective has been assigned to these cases. The FBI is involved. There's a task force right there in Tacoma dealing with these kind of online sexual exploitation crimes. What happens from here? And I know it's difficult to assign a timeline, but as best you can, take me through it.
Well, we're also working with the state. The state has a sexual exploitation task force too, and we're just making sure that everybody's involved.
This is a problem because it pointed out that no one he had spoken to was an actual victim. He then moved on to an alleged victim's advocate who he allegedly asked if I was going to jail. The victim's advocate replied that it was likely I would not. This is only what I was told, as I, like most people with emotions, don't enjoy watching people lie about me / wish ill upon me. Okay, about Onision not going to jail. I have never said that Onision would go to jail. Actually, one of the first videos I ever made on this channel was talking about how Kai might go to jail, but Onision may not. So him always saying that, hey, Antayo, you said that I was going to jail. I don't think there's even one single like big YouTuber, big anti-O YouTuber who said that Onision is definitely going to jail. I don't think I've seen that. This is after the predator hunter had promised repeatedly that there was an investigation. This was after he promised jail. This was after he insisted guilt, yet he repeatedly proved he had nothing. So why wouldn't he just admit it already? Again, even Chris Hansen had been careful about this and said that there's a possibility of him going to jail and there's a possibility of jail time, but never promised it. It's Onision trying to push his narrative here. Allegedly, that person also said, based on what I was told, something along the lines of something bad should happen to him. Not an exact quote, I'm guessing. Which to this day I really feel uncomfortable with, as I know I have done nothing wrong to any of those women as far as the laws go, or my conscience goes. If what you did to Sarah you don't think is morally wrong, then I would say you belong in jail, my dude. They feel I hurt their feelings, which happens when you dump someone. I sleep well at night because I broke up with all of them for following reasons. Woman 1, dumped for cheating on me while getting pregnant with another man's baby, while collecting thousands of dollars from me to survive, while she was lying saying she would return. Lying constantly to a pathological level, having fake meltdowns almost every time we argued, physically grabbing me, refusing to let me move, body slamming my door in a rage, threatening to end her own life and frame me for her death, not even joking, the police hauled her away, and more. I'm pretty sure that he is lying about all of these things here, or at least not telling the whole truth. Anyways, woman 2, dumped for doing illegal drugs, lying, admitted to being vindictive, and more. Now, by doing illegal drugs, Onision means marijuana. He means weed. The excuse that he came up with for Billy was that, oh, Billy did illegal drugs. Again, he's fucking lying here by saying that, oh, she did illegal drugs. She smoked some weed. She smoked some goddamn weed. Anyways, moving on. Woman 3 did illegal drugs, lied, apologized for, quote, raping me. Yeah, right. Like an 18-year-old could ever rape a 30-year-old man. Yeah, right. That makes sense to me. I'm not saying that men can't be raped by women, but I'm just pointing out the age difference here. Says to me that, Onision being raped by an 18-year-old. No, I have a really hard time believing that. Blackmailed me, faked her personality, masked her real intentions, publicly admitted to all these and more. A lot of people think that I don't like older women. They have painted me something that I'm not even remotely. Fact is, they don't talk about the 24-year-old, the other 24-year-old, the 27-year-old, the 30-plus-year-old, or anyone else because it does not fit their narrative. Who the hell is he talking about here? Is he going by the current age of the people that he had dated years ago? Because these are not, at least the relationship that Onision has had publicly, these are not the ages of the women that he had dated. And let's say that Onision is telling the truth here. The fact that you bought a fucking 16-year-old in your house and then your partner had the fucking power of attorney of her and then you had sex with her right after she turned 18. No, it doesn't matter if you've had good relationships in the past. This is still fucking wrong. Apparently, those women don't want to play victim either. Maybe because they are actually honest about what happened. The narrative from the predator catcher was that I was going to jail. No, even Chris Hansen has been careful about this. He has said that there's a possibility of jail time, but he has never said that, oh my god, Onision is definitely going to jail. And as far as I'm aware, all the public YouTubers, all the big anti-O YouTubers have always said that there's a possibility of it, but none of them has said that Onision is definitely going to jail. For what crime? Literally none have been proven. And why? Because none existed as stated by the police themselves. Again, we're having a hard time finding actual victims, as public outrage does not equal crime. Again, he's fucking cherry picking here. He picks out this quote of the police officer saying, "We're having a hard time finding actual victims," but will not quote when he said that there's an actual investigation going on all 3 levels. The crimes that did occur were committed against me. I was a victim of slander, sexual extortion, blackmailing, trespassing, vandalism, harassment, and more. These are the things that ironically the people going after me proved themselves. When I did a live stream for 3 hours, people struggled to defend or disprove the crimes people committed against me. They were actually shocked by the fact that someone had tried to have me swatted by the police, but police were too smart to fall for a false report. One of many reports that have been made due to online toxicity exists in those who side with false accusers. So the question becomes, why don't I do anything about it? Now that their house of cards fell apart, the dust is clearing, and I'm the one left standing, still painted as a criminal, without having committed a single crime. Why don't I sue? Woman 1, net worth, likely nothing. Woman 2, net worth, likely nothing. Woman 3, net worth, likely nothing. Every last one of them, the last time I checked, was a hardcore drug addict. Billy literally fucking smoked some goddamn weed. And Sarah, like every other teenager, had tried some drugs in the past. Is that what he thinks being a drug addict is? Oh my god, we're talking people who post pictures online of them posting with their drugs. One even said she couldn't go to sleep at night without first getting high. So why would they have money? I'm speechless. I actually paid Woman 2 at one point $9,000 to run my business email. You know what she said she spent it on? Drugs and makeup. The Predator Catcher and his finances, every time you look him up, there's an article about how he has no money whatsoever. He was evicted from his house, lost in multiple court settlements, losing tons of money, and even went to jail because he was so broke and bounced a check at one point and had to turn himself into the police. So I'm left here with no financial compensation for what I went through. And I'm simply not the kind of person who's in a position to sue based on principle. He used the wrong principle here, just saying. Essentially, that would be letting them hurt me more than I already have been. But why not go to the police? This girl admitted to sexually assaulting me, right? She did already publicly admit to it. So, problem is, unlike them, I'm not vengeful. I don't want to see them suffer. I don't want to take away their freedom. What I want is to literally see them move on with their lives and get over the fact that I didn't want it to be with them. Do you know the actual reason why Onision won't go to the police about this, quote, sexual extortion that Sarah did? Yeah? Because Sarah was a recently turned 18-year-old. And Onision was in his fucking 30s. He has nothing on this. That's the reason why he would not go to the police. And unlike Onision, Sarah had went to the FBI and gave her laptop and her phones to the FBI. So, yeah, I want them to get over the fact I know they are criminals, liars, and generally horrible people who would try to ruin an innocent person's life. They have to live with themselves. But that's why I dumped them, so I don't have to live with them. But they have not moved on, have they? They hated me for how many times I was rude to them. How many times I said mean things like, you are a criminal, and you are a liar, and I don't want to sleep with you, and get out of my life. These things hurt feelings. So what did they get out of it? Woman 1, now promoting her new album, started a GoFundMe and got thousands of dollars. Woman 2, now promoting her adult pics site, achieved a high level of clout to promote her YouTube channel. Woman 3, associated with both a GoFundMe and a Venmo, said to have made thousands of dollars as well. The Predator Catcher, now tens of thousands of dollars richer as well. You know what's an easier way for Sarah to make more money out of this whole thing if she wanted to? She could just start talking about Onision on her YouTube channel. But you know what? Sarah is a waitress. Sarah doesn't make any videos on YouTube. And I think the woman too that he's talking about here, it's Billy. And again, I haven't seen her videos. Have you ever seen Billy's YouTube channel? I mean, I haven't. I haven't even seen her videos like recommended to me, if she even makes videos right now. So for Onision to say that these women only came forward because, oh, they wanted clout and they wanted money, that's just not true. There are so many easier ways to make money out of this if they really wanted to. You know, they could just start talking about Onision on their YouTube channel and make a lot of money. So for Onision to say, oh, they only did this because of money, it's just not true. Me? Well, my career is in shambles, my reputation is destroyed, and they all successfully ruined me. I lost my Patreon, both my networks dropped me, I lost my YouNow account, and I was temporarily banned from Twitch. Why? Well, the site that spoke to me said it was because of doxing. What they're referring to is me posting a loving text from Women2 to my Twitter. We were saying nice things to each other, and I was reflecting on how good things were at one point. I was expressing how sad it was that things went south. The problem? I didn't have her name in my phone anymore. So at the top of the screenshot, her number. An issue I corrected within minutes, but it was already too late. I made a mistake for minutes and corrected it, but lost an unknown amount of money as a result. Now, this has nothing to do with anti-O, by the way. Patreon is unusually strict with their TOS, so it's not because of, oh, anti-O's got Onision's Patreon deleted. It's just him being a dumbass and doxing Billy. The people who already hated me responded by doxing not only me, but my significant other and my immediate family members. They posted their numbers, their addresses, and everything. And I don't think that that's a good thing to do. I don't think that's okay. And again, that's a small portion of the anti-O community, which is very much toxic. And how did they pay for that? For responding to accidentally forgetting to crop out part of text with maliciously posting an entire family's address, phone numbers, and more. I don't think they did. And you know what? It doesn't completely matter. I don't care if they get away with it. It's not my business. What matters is that everyone learns from this. That I never trust anyone to be honest again. That I always expect the worst in people. That I never allow people who use drugs in my life again. That I never give people second and third chances. That I cut malicious liars out of my life the moment they lie. That I shut myself off to being a sucker like I was so many times, a bleeding heart. So that's my experience. People say I lie, and yet truth comes out eventually. And regardless of them refusing to be confronted live online, in an interview, to put their words to test, the truth isn't something you can just change or run from. This is coming from Onision. I did my part. I said it all. I took all challenges and I came out in the end, still knowing who I am, what I went through, and literally everyone who confronted me failed to prove any crime occurred. No one ever said that. Oh my god. No one ever said that Onision committed a crime and that Onision is going to jail. No big YouTuber has said it. It's him saying it. They failed to defend the crimes the others actually committed. The truth won. So hate me or hate me doesn't change what happened. Doesn't change the fact I stood up while everyone else took a knee. Okay, so yeah, that was a shit show. I have been recording for about an hour now. I wanna stop. Oh, before I end this video, I just wanted to say that my 1 year YouTube anniversary is here. Yay! I'm recording this on Easter, 12th April, and tomorrow is going to be my 1 year YouTube anniversary, you know? So that's kind of cool, you know? Also, a few people have said in the comment section that I sound like BMO from Adventure Time, and I'm absolutely honored. So yeah, I'm gonna stop recording now. This video has been going on for way too long. Like this video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts down below about what you think. Subscribe for more videos. And yeah, do not touch your face